symbolic structure that divides the land of the living and the land of the dead.
Death and the funeral customs are often shrouded in mystery. In this episode, we explore the lesser-known area of Singapore's oldest cemetery to bring you the awesome sights you probably have no idea exist, and share with you the folklore and the dark past surrounding this area.
So anything that lies beyond the gate in the cemetery is all anchored in that location. But what you notice from Lau Sua entrance, there is no cemetery gate. So that makeshift altar becomes the guardian of this cemetery. I really don't feel good.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. Bukit Brown is the oldest cemetery in Singapore and is home to some of the most iconic names in our history books. There are about 100,000 tombs in the area, and many of them lie forgotten in the land surrounding Bukit Brown. One such area is Lau Sua, which means Old Hill in Mandarin. It is here where our trek begins, to the once abandoned temple on a hill. Leading the expeditions are my two very experienced guides, Chichi and Sonia, who spent most of their free time looking for places with a dark past. My video crew requested for us to hike when there's still light, because it would be better for the shots, they say. But I think they are actually afraid.
There is the Tua Pek Kong temple on the hill, and behind me is a cemetery. Now, if you know about cemetery, anything about cemetery at all, there's always a cemetery gate. The gate is seldom closed, but what is the purpose of a cemetery gate then, you will ask? The gate is a symbolic structure that divides the land of the living and the land of the dead. So anything that lies beyond the gate in the cemetery is all anchored in that location. But what you notice from Lau Sua entrance, there is no cemetery gate. So that makeshift altar becomes the guardian of this cemetery. 7 months, you find that this path is lit up all the way. And this path from the entrance leads to this part of the cemetery, where you notice there's Yomo candles and offerings, and most of these are very Taoist in nature.
Just a few years ago, this temple looked like a scene out of a horror movie, with vines growing through the collapsed roof. Religious figures, abandoned and faded, stare at visitors with unwelcoming eyes. Today, the temple has been re-established, and in traditional Chinese folklore, Tua Pek Kong is a powerful deity who's able to bring about good fortune and suppress demons. I thought it would be wise to seek blessings from the deities in this temple. The place is beautiful in the day, but try coming here at night and the mood changes drastically. Chichi thought he spotted a large shadowy figure following us while we made our way through the forest, but since I sensed no malice from the surrounding, I take it to mean that my prayers for protection were answered.
View between this place, there is some form of vibration, especially this tree on the right. If you guys are sensitive and you come here, you may feel certain divine vibrations coming out of this area. So I believe these two trees form cemetery's gate between that side and this area.
Makes sense because there's incense coming out of the temple too.
There you go. You can see further in this cemetery.
In Asia, we believe that the forest is home to both nature and wandering spirits, and some trees have special significance. Old folks would advise the young never to pee on trees or to disrespect nature. Angry spirits will cover your eyes and cause you to lose your way in the wilderness. But if you're not the superstitious type, the forest has many other interesting things to offer.
So bamboo shoot was used traditionally in soon kueh, the making of soon kueh, the Chinese dish. But you boil, you cut lah, bamboo shoot. Right now they use turnip or radish, right? But the olden days, and it's a very time-consuming thing because you boil it, you throw the water, you boil about 6 times, then you make it. So bamboo shoot.
A cluster of banyan tree, and banyan tree is very iconic in Singapore with its hanging roots. You'll find a lot of old people who say, don't pull on these roots like what Chichi did just now, because you will anger the spirits. This is the tree's beard, and apparently spirits are hanging from these roots. Some of the urban legend speaks about how children will go missing and they play among banyan tree like this because the spirits will hide you and take you away. That's how they steal children. So if you're coming very close to this area, you see it's a very nice place for children to play, almost like hide and seek. But banyan tree have its very occult roots, and shaman will be using this place for their rituals, for their meditation, to challenge spirits, or to even ask for protection. This place around us was once a few villages combined together, and legend has it that the Japanese came and massacred 2 whole villages. So we are standing on a patch of land with a very dark past where many lives are lost. Looking at this patch of banyan tree, I won't be surprised if in the old days shamans actually used this place as their enclave for meditation.
We hasten our pace through what was once an old village, but the area has now been taken over by nature. Thunder roared overhead and dark clouds quickly rolled in on the horizon. Between Chichi pulling on the tree's beard and Sonia wanting to cut bamboo shoots, I feel that they have doomed us all. The hike wasn't exactly an easy one, and having the right kind of footwear is essential. For those willing to traverse through mud and vegetation, the sights are very rewarding. And of course, a montage scene is never complete without a cool, heroic pose.
This hut that you see here is one of the most important markers that would lead into Bukit Brown. A lot of thrill seekers would drive all the way up here and sometimes to sit around here at night to get a sense of the energy in this area. This is Tan Boon Cheng hut, and why this is interesting is if you look inside the house, it is actually where the grave is.
In some dark retelling of stories from those who dared venture into Bukit Brown Cemetery at night, it was rumored that people tend to get lost in the area and would find themselves circling around and coming back to this grave. Historical records showed us that Mr. Tan was a learned man and a philanthropist. According to oral history of the tomb caretakers, Mr. Tan Boon Cheng was also a famous fortune teller, especially in the Peranakan community, with a reputation of his accurate readings. Stepping past a cluster of banana trees, you'll find a path leading to the homes of other caretakers in the area, and even a natural spring that comes out of the ground. I sent Sonia to do a taste test because, I'm gentlemanly that way.
When it comes to Asian superstitions, the Chinese believe that water brings luck. And where we were just now, spring water is coming out of the ground and it runs down all the way through here. And you can see behind is the Chinese wording says Nian Nian You Yi, which is what you usually hear during Chinese New Year when people they say blessings, right? Nian Nian You Yi, the abundance, fortune in abundance. So water coming out of spring, coming down here, this would mean, I believe, in this garden and this part of the area is where fortune flows through.
The secret garden is a perfect spot for meditation and a chance to rest our tired feet. The eclectic mix of stone statues added a touch of mysticism to the area. What piqued my interest was the numerous Sikh statues standing amongst the more religious icons, and thankfully Chichi was on hand to give us an explanation.
Loyal in the past, very loyal to all the enterprise, to the company. Mostly the company employ them to take care of the companies. So why this thing is in Bukit Brown? Because to take care of the dead person also, of his loyalty.
The sun was quickly setting, and with the thick foliage overhead, we would soon be shrouded in complete darkness. The vibe of the place took a chilly turn. Scent that we did not notice before became more apparent. We found numerous tombs abandoned and covered by vegetation. After what seemed like an endless walk through the same scenery, we finally emerged to the main section of Bukit Brown, the more touristy parts.
Okay, there's an urban legend about this statue. Okay, if you stay too long, the eyes will blink to you.
Urban legend or not, I wasn't about to get into a staring match with these 6 stone guardians. It's not a game I wanted to win. So we made our way further down the road and cut left through a cluster of graves towards Bukit Brown's VVIP residence, Mr. and Mrs. Ong Sam Leong, Singapore's richest family back in their time. The gravesite is the size of 6 regular Singaporean homes today. By now, dusk is upon us and you could feel the eeriness creeping onto the highest point of Bukit Brown Cemetery.
See, the grave itself is being covered by
A tomb shore. The mound, that oval mound that you see at the back.
yes. They call it as a tomb shore because in Chinese belief that when you die, you go back to the womb of the earth.
If you were to come closer and look at how ornate some of the carvings are around. Now this is all done by hand. So you have artisans that would be here carving this out of stone. And look at how ornate that is. How much money must have gone into such a grave, such a rich grave.
All the site is, I will tell a different stories. The carving.
So they're like pictograms,
Yes.
right? Telling its own story. So see guards symbolically protecting the grave. One on either end, one here and one on the other side. Very interesting architectural feature is the Peranakan tiles, because Ong Sam Leong is a Peranakan man. Now there's a really funny story about the tiles and how you can see some of the tiles are missing its pattern, or some are very faded. Here it's clear, it's vivid, the color still pops, but if you look up here, it's faded because somebody thought they were doing the grave a favor by cleaning it up. They cleaned it with bleach. And what happened was the tiles all faded. What were they thinking? They were not thinking.
The team trekked on into the night, the path illuminated by moonlight and light pollution from the highway nearby. We marvel at the wide expanse of land that has not yet been raped in the name of modernization. A portion of the cemetery had been exhumed in 2014 to make way for said highway. 4,000 graves were affected. The project encountered numerous problems, leading many to believe that the spirits were not pleased with being disturbed. According to inside sources, spiritual masters were called in to negotiate for the safe passage of the workers. But despite that, freak accidents still took place. In the end, man and his machines won the battle, and the highway was finally completed in 2018. We ended our hike at a spot where these angry spirits lingered and found an interesting hideaway where workers sought shelter during the day. The energy in this place was far less welcoming. Our camera batteries drained very quickly, and so did our torches. When the video crew went home to review the recordings, they found that the footage shot at the final checkpoint were all corrupted. Unfortunately, we couldn't show you the clip where Chichi and Melmint both turned to look at a corner at the same time. Apparently, they both felt the presence of an angry mob getting closer to us. We promised ourselves that one day we'll come back here again and get the footage that we need.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.